Okay, we are back. We are back. We're not sure how long, but we're back. All right, guys. So, boy, one hell of a night. So, here's the thing. We've talked about all these different areas, right? Poor leadership, lack of communication, no voice, clicks, and now we're on to poor participation. Poor participation. This is, again, the final one that we're going to talk about tonight. And these are, like I said, very, very real things. So when you're talking about poor participation, what are we referring to? Because it's not as simple as it sounds. In talking to a lot of our brothers out there, this poor participation thing, it's there's a lot of subtleties to it. It's not just simple stuff. So to the members of the chapter, the guys that are the meat and potatoes of the chapters, not the officers, you have a situation where the members don't always participate for a variety of reasons. We've talked about before that they become burnout. Obviously, this whole topic, they become burnout because of a variety of things. The other issue too is poor participation because of what? Lack of communication, lack of hearing their voice heard. And they wonder, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? We have an issue with participation by the members individually. And then we also have poor participation by the chapter as a whole. I had a bunch of guys reach out to me and say that, it's extremely aggravating when they would want to do something. They have all sorts of ideas, but the chapter seems stagnant. The chapter as a whole doesn't really want to seem to do anything. Or the chapter doesn't want to listen to ideas to do things. Some guys feel that if it's not the if it's not the captain of the chapter's idea to do something, then the captain doesn't want to do something. And that's a very valid concern. If that's happening within your chapter, I'm sorry, and I feel for you. Captains need to recognize, the leaders of the chapters need to recognize that not all the ideas, not all the good charity ideas or the good ideas for what you can do as a chapter are going to come from the captains. It's not what they're there for. If you're a captain that feels that way, I'm sorry, that's not what you're there for. Just to come up with all the good ideas. So as a chapter, do guys feel like their voice is being heard about what they want to do? One of the things I asked a guy when he said to me, when a brother reached out, when he was commenting about lack of participation within the chapter doesn't seem to be doing much. I asked him the very blunt question. I said, well, is it a problem where the officers or the captains don't want to do stuff, or is it because they're just not organizing things? And are the members of your chapter made to feel that they cannot organize things on their own? There's this very real, I guess, there's this very real belief in some chapters that the chapter has to do things as a whole. That if members of the chapter are going to do a charity work, the whole chapter has to decide on it and then do that, and then be able to say that the chapter did that. And I feel so bad for that, because the chapter benefits whether 2 guys do something or 10 guys do something or 50 guys do a thing. So when we're talking about poor participation, I'm hoping that chapter members who feel that way that are concerned about their chapter's participation in things and lack of doing things or charity events, I'm hoping that it's not because you feel that you can't organize these things or do things on your own. Now, organizing something as a chapter is one thing, but participating in something else is a completely different and much simpler thing to do. Many chapters participate in cancer walks. My chapter, as a matter of fact, is doing that this weekend. We're participating in Cancer Walk. It's not our organized walk. It's not something we organized, but as many of us as possible within the chapter are participating in it. Chicago just did an ACS walk. Chapters do the polar plunge. These are things that they're not organizing, that the chapters themselves are not organizing, but they're taking part in. And maybe if you're a chapter, if you're in a situation where you feel like you have poor participation by the chapter, not the members of the chapter, but as your chapter, maybe reaching out and saying, hey guys, there's this thing over here. Let's see how many of us can participate in it. We don't have to have 100% attendance, but that's not to say that you can't still say that your chapter participated in this. So don't limit yourself or your ideas to simply those things that you and your chapter can initiate, that you and your chapter can organize by themselves. Now, I don't have an easy answer to the prospect or the problem of, guys that just, individual guys within a chapter not participating. I do believe there's a lot of truth to that idea that you have to want to be there. You have to want to be there. You have to want to do the things, do the work. But it's very easy for somebody, especially in a leadership role, to come down on guys who aren't participatory, saying they just don't seem to have the want. They don't have the desire. But here's the key. And this is something I ask myself when I haven't heard from somebody in a while. And it doesn't have, now I'm not talking specifically even just about my chapter, guys that I know in BV that I'm used to hearing from if I don't hear from them in a while.